Would you dare step onto trains where every single meter of track hides deadly risk, where one mistake offers no correction, no turning back, and sometimes no second chance at all? Built over a century ago and barely changed since, these narrow, steep, merciless routes cling to cliffs with nothing but a thin ribbon of steel between you and a plunge hundreds of meters into oblivion. This isn't ordinary travel. This is riding the razor's edge of survival. Welcome to the most dangerous and spectacular railways on Earth. It's a railway that pulls itself up a mountain. The Mount Washington Cog Railway is the first of its kind in the world. It climbs an unforgiving slope that approaches 37 degrees at its steepest. Steam engines and modern biodiesel units battle gravity. They scale the ferocious heights of New Hampshire's highest peak. The weather can shift in an instant from serene to severe. Winds howl and temperatures plunge. This is no leisurely journey. As passengers board, they are not merely climbing a hill. They are embarking on a visceral confrontation with nature. The tracks, built in 1869, were laid with sweat and grit. They slice through alpine swathes where the air grows thin. The horizon expands into infinity. Every trip is a lesson in persistence. The locomotive strains against the laws of physics. The cog gears grip the rack rail. This is a revolutionary design that allows the train to maintain its grip. It grips the bone-rattling incline. Surprisingly, nearly 35,000 passengers a year undertake this trek. It's a pilgrimage of sorts to a summit that can feel like a different world. The summit awaits, often cloaked in a shroud of clouds. It teases climbers with glimpses of the world below. Here at 6,288 feet, the elements are merciless. Mount Washington holds the record for the fastest wind gust recorded on Earth. That gust reached 231 miles per hour. As the train rattles to its apex, it becomes clear. This is more than transportation. It's a confrontation with the raw, untamed power of nature. This is not merely a train. It is a lifeline, a pulse echoing across Bangladesh's vast plains. The Bishwag Tamer Special was born from necessity in a land where overcrowding is a daily reality. It weaves through villages and cities, a ribbon of hope and desperation intertwined. With a design meant for 1,000 passengers, hundreds more cling precariously to every surface. They fight for space, for time, for a way to reach their destinations. While the train travels at a relentless pace, every inch is a contest. It is a struggle where peril and routine fuse seamlessly. Here, the tracks are arteries pulsating with life. A glimpse reveals the human spirit hard at work. Each day, vendors board to sell everything from steaming snacks to handmade goods. They transform the aisles into vibrant marketplaces. Yet there's an unspoken cost. On average, there are dozens of injuries each week. This is a constant reminder that danger lurks in every rush and jolt. Over 300,000 people rely on this single train each day. But it's more than just transportation. It's a connection to dreams in a nation teetering on the brink of change. The Bishwag Tamer doesn't just cross geographical boundaries. It journeys through the very heart of human resilience. It echoes the desires, fears, and relentless determination of its passengers. In this cacophony of life, every ride tells a story. Hope and hustle blend into a relentless momentum. Each journey is a testament to the will to move forward. This is where steam and steel converge amidst roaring landscapes. The Durango and Silverton narrow-gauge railroad threads through Colorado's rugged San Juan Mountains. It is a lifeline of history and adventure. Constructed in the late 1800s to transport silver and gold, it now carries a different kind of treasure. Passengers seek the thrill of the wild. Over 45 miles of track twist and turn along cliffs and rivers. It delivers riders into an untouched wilderness. This is a realm where nature reigns supreme and time seems to pause. But this isn't just any journey. The railroad, built on steep gradients, navigates through narrow canyons and high-altitude passes. Here, the train's powerful engines chug defiantly against the elements. They summon memories of a bygone era. Surprising as it may be, the train runs on coal. This is an echo of its past. Smoke curls into the crisp mountain air as it ascends. Every season transforms the scenery. In summer, lush greens blanket the hillsides. In winter, snow carpets the land. The train becomes a magical serpent winding through white. The journey captures a nostalgia that many claim is palpable. It echoes laughter and stories shared amongst travelers. With its vintage locomotives and authentic wooden cars, the railroad offers not just transportation. It provides a direct connection to history and the souls who once labored along these tracks. As the whistle pierces the silence, it's more than a sound, it's a bridge across time. It pulls forth old ghosts and new memories alike. Here, the past is not merely remembered, it is relived. A railway that feels like a pulse, a lifeline running through the barren expanse of northern Chile. This is the FCAB Railway, connecting mineral-rich mountains to the bustling ports of the Pacific. It carries more than just freight. It transports the very essence of an economy reliant on lithium, copper, and iron. Day after day, hundreds of freight cars traverse this arid landscape, echoing the cries of a forgotten civilization, where the remnants of abandoned mines whisper stories of relentless ambition and despair. Beneath a relentless sun, the tracks wind their way through a surreal desert tableau, where the only witnesses are the granite peaks and distant salt flats, glimmering under an unforgiving sky. Sometimes the trains stretch over a mile long, hauling an astonishing 15,000 tons of raw materials in a single journey, showcasing the sheer scale of extraction in this desolate environment. Yet it's more than a supply line. It's a lifeline for communities that cling precariously to the edges of this arid terrain. The FCAB is more than metal and wood. It's a connection to progress and survival. And the trains rumble on through landscapes that time forgot. With a frequency that defies the vast silence, they become a heartbeat in the wilderness, a reminder that even in the harshest of realms, resilience finds a way to adapt and thrive. Here on the FCAB Railway, life persists relentlessly against the odds. A ribbon of steel runs beneath the bustling streets of Nanjing. This is Metro Line S9, an underground artery designed to connect the city's outskirts with its vibrant core. Launched in 2015, it isn't just a transportation line. It's a lifeline for millions, facilitating seamless commutes amidst the urban chaos above. As trains glide along their tracks, the rhythm of modern life unfolds within. Passengers glance up from their devices, sharing fleeting interactions. Their stories intertwine in the confined space. Each station is a microcosm of the city. It's bustling with vendors, artists, and commuters, all flowing with a singular purpose. But Line S9 is extraordinary for reasons beyond its utility. Spanning 29 kilometers, it features the world's longest automated driverless segment. Here, trains weave through complex designs, emerging and diving with precision. It showcases cutting-edge engineering that defies conventional rail systems. A seldom-known fact is that the tunnels beneath Nanjing, carved from ancient rock, preserve remnants of the city's storied past. They whisper tales to those who dare to listen. The system's design prioritizes inclusivity. It provides access for those with disabilities, ensuring that every citizen can navigate its depths. Trains arrive every few minutes, a heartbeat within the city. As dusk falls, the glowing lights reflect off the polished surfaces of the trains. They illuminate a community in motion. Each journey is a reminder that in the relentless pace of life, it's the connections we forge that matter. However brief, they weave the fabric of our cities, binding us all together on this shared journey. This is the Lake Baskinch salt train. It is a relentless force, churning through a landscape as hostile as it is unique. In the Russian steppes, the earth crumbles into white crystals. This train serves a singular purpose, extracting the salt locked beneath the surface of Lake Baskinch. Here, the salinity exceeds that of the Dead Sea. It saturates everything it touches. For every ton of salt harvested, there's a story. Each railcar is a vessel of transformation. This isn't ordinary freight, it's a battle against erosion. The train's wheels are almost instantly corroded. They bear witness to an environment that devours metal. Each day, this beast crawls along tracks coated in crystalline deposits. It sounds a low, laborious growl as it drags heavy loads across a shimmering expanse. Surprisingly, this train doesn't just transport salt. It also supplies the largest salt plant in Russia. It provides a critical resource for food preservation and industrial use. Yet it faces an uncertain future. Climate change looms over the lake's water levels. It threatens the delicate balance that sustains this unique operation. Salt here is not merely a commodity, it's a lifeline for the local economy. It is also a symbol of resilience. Day by day, the Lake Baskinch salt train continues. It pushes against the currents of decay and time. It is a glimmering promise in a white wasteland that seeks to reclaim what belongs to it. A ribbon of iron stretches across the expansive Renjiakayu River. Here, steel meets history in an unfurling saga of resilience. The Renjiakayu Railway Bridge is a vital artery in the transport network of northeast China. It serves as a lifeline for local communities. The bridge threads through landscapes rich with both natural beauty and human labor. Constructed in the late 20th century, this bridge is not merely a structure. It embodies the aspirations of a nation seeking to connect its vast territories. From the bustling of freight trains laden with agricultural produce, to passenger cars carrying families reuniting after long separations, this bridge encapsulates the rhythm of everyday life. Remarkably, it's not just a bridge, but an engineering feat. It is capable of withstanding seismic activity, a necessity in this region. It was built not just to cross, but to endure. The bridge showcases innovations that push the limits of engineering. Local folklore whispers of a time when the river ran dry. The bridge became a gathering place, a canvas for artists and dreamers. They painted their hopes against the steel. Ordinary lives intersect within the shadows of the towering supports. Here, laughter and tears flow freely like the rushing water below. Yet, even amidst the vibrancy of life, the bridge tells the story of sacrifice. Each rivet and beam is a silent witness to the hands that built it. The Renjiakayu Railway Bridge stands not merely as a passage. It is a connection between past and future. Every train crossing is a thread woven into the fabric of human endeavor. This is the railway forged in the crucible of despair. It is often called the Death Railway. Connecting Thailand and Myanmar, it serves as a haunting reminder. It reflects a dark history etched into every rail and every tie. Constructed by thousands of Allied prisoners and forced laborers during World War II. The line stretches through dense jungles and treacherous cliffs. It stands as a daunting testament to human endurance and suffering. What makes this railway extraordinary isn't merely its path through perilous landscapes. It's the grim toll it exacted. An estimated 100,000 souls are believed to have died during its construction. Many lie unmarked, their stories lost in the thick overgrowth that clings to the tracks. Each mile tells of anguish. Where jungles once teemed with life, they now whisper of horrors endured beneath the relentless sun. Landslides remain a constant threat, just as they were during its construction. They remind travelers that nature, too, has its grievances. Since the war, sections have transformed from symbols of tragedy to tourist trails. Here, the laughter of visitors mingles with the echoes of the past. They glide across the very wood where lives were sacrificed. Many are unaware of their journey's chilling significance. Yet, amidst the lush greenery and picturesque scenery, the shadows persist. Remnants of the brutal labor linger in the air. They create an atmosphere of both discovery and sorrow. This isn't merely a railway, it is a path through history. It carries the weight of its story with every passing train. It serves as a reminder that some tracks are paved with blood. A ribbon of steel stitches together two worlds in the dense jungles of Gujarat. Meet the Bipang Railway Bridge. Spanning nearly 2,000 feet, it's not just a bridge. It's a lifeline connecting remote villages to urban centers. Built in the late 19th century to facilitate the movement of goods and people. Its design reflects the engineering ingenuity of British colonial visionaries. The bridge's foundation rests on a landscape that breathes history. Silted banks occasionally reveal remnants of ancient trails. Each day, freight trains glide over the weathered beams. They carry essential supplies like grains and textiles. They also carry the hopes of communities that rely on them. In a region where monsoons can unleash their fury, this bridge stands resilient. It witnesses not just the passage of trains, but the passage of life itself. Surprisingly, it isn't only trains that traverse this span. The bridge doubles as a vital migration route for thousands of birds. This makes it a unique junction where nature meets industry. It plays host to an ecosystem flourishing amidst the clamor of steel wheels. You can hear the distant echo of horns. Engineers once faced serious challenges when constructing this bridge. They struggled with the lack of sophisticated machinery. They also faced the daunting task of overcoming the river's swift currents. Yet against the odds, they succeeded. Today, the Bipang Railway Bridge remains a symbol of endurance. It is a connection woven through time. It carries stories not just of goods moved, but of lives intertwined in a relentless flow. The bridge doesn't just cross water, it unites destinies. The Tian Shan Canyon Railway is a ribbon of steel that twists and turns through one of the most dramatic landscapes on Earth. Carving its way through the soaring Tian Shan mountain range, this line is not merely a means of transit. It is a lifeline connecting remote villages to the outside world. Here, the sheer cliffs plunge into gorges so deep they make the heart race. The railway itself is a feat of engineering, built along routes where nature intended no passage. It defies gravity and the elements. Open since 1999, it not only transports passengers, but also vital cargo. This includes coal and agricultural goods across rugged terrain that poses constant challenges. Trains weave along tracks that cling precariously to mountainsides. One misstep could send a train tumbling into the abyss below. This isn't just a commute, it's a journey through the sublime. Every audio cue from the rumbling engines breaks the silence of the mountains. Along these tracks, local folklore intertwines with history. Somewhere in this majestic expanse, it is said, lies the ghost of a long-lost caravan. This is a reminder of the ancient trade routes that once flourished here. Surprisingly, some of the railway's tunnels were carved by hand. This is a testament to the determination of workers who braved the unforgiving elements of the high altitudes. As the locomotive roars onward, it becomes clear this is not a mere railway. It is a thread weaving together the past and the present. It carries with it the aspirations of a people bound to their land. This is the Ribblehead Viaduct. It is a monumental feat of engineering. It is etched into the rugged landscape of the Yorkshire Dales. Connecting the railways of the north, it arches gracefully across the valley. This bridge once served a relentless purpose. It linked distant towns and industrial hubs with a spirit of progress. Built in the 1870s, it was no easy task. Thousands of laborers toiled through treacherous weather. Their lives were intertwined with the very stones they laid. Stretching 440 yards, this structure rises over 104 feet at its highest point. Those who cross it now see more than just a railway span. They witness a history woven from sweat and suffering. An estimated 1,000 men faced harrowing conditions. Many succumbed to the elements, leaving behind stories. These stories are etched in memory and folklore. But it isn't just the human cost that draws attention. The viaduct's design boasts 24 intricate arches. This is an engineering triumph that allowed steam locomotives to traverse steep gradients. It carries heavy freight and attracts enthusiasts and sightseers. It casts reflections in the local rivers. It stands defiant against the passage of time. To add to its mystique, Ribblehead sits near an ancient burial site. Here, the echoes of the past mingle with the rumble of trains. Iron meets stone amid windswept moors. The true spirit of connection lives on. The Ribblehead Viaduct isn't merely a crossing. It is a narrative carved into the essence of the earth. It is a bridge not just of steel, but of history itself. Here, a train climbs toward the clouds. It navigates the steep slopes of the Andes. This is the legendary Tren, Allah's Nubes. This isn't just a journey. It's an ascent through a world where altitude alters reality. Stretching over 200 kilometers, it reaches 4,200 meters above sea level. It defies the limits of engineering and human endurance. Every curve reveals breathtaking views. These views transform beneath an ever-changing sky. It's an artist's palette of reds, oranges, and blues. Originally constructed to transport minerals from remote mines, its purpose has evolved into a vital link for isolated communities. Each day, passengers board the narrow-gauge train. They travel not only to reach a destination. They connect with nature's extremes. Here the air is thin. The warmth of sunlight contrasts with the cold mountain breeze. At every bend, one can find remnants of a once thriving mining industry. This industry has long since been abandoned. Among its winding route, a vast viaduct soars over an abyss. One cannot help but feel the vertigo as the train glides across. Remarkably, it operates year-round. It runs regardless of weather conditions. Snow, rain, or sunshine, it keeps going. But the most surprising aspect: despite the heights, this train is a lifeline. It carries not just tourists, but also supplies and goods. These goods sustain life in these secluded towns. A passage through the clouds, it offers the chance to touch the sky. You can feel the heartbeat of a world few have known. In this climb, the journey itself becomes the destination. Northern Explorer, New Zealand. This is not a train that rushes you anywhere. This is a train that forces you to look, really look, at a landscape that does not exist anywhere else on Earth. The Northern Explorer runs across the heart of New Zealand's North Island, and calling it a train journey undersells it dramatically. This is a rolling window into one of the most geologically dramatic landscapes on the planet. The route covers roughly 420 kilometers, crossing 4 mountain passes, threading through valleys, skirting volcanoes, and traversing viaducts that hang suspended above ravines so deep that the rivers at the bottom look like silver threads from the train window. The character of the landscape shifts as the journey progresses in ways that feel almost cinematic. You begin in the green pastoral countryside around Auckland, rolling farmland and gentle hills. Then, as the train climbs into the central North Island plateau, the world changes. The vegetation becomes sparse and windswept. The volcanic peaks of the Tongariro National Park appear on the horizon, the dark cones of Ruapehu, Ngauruhoe, and Tongariro rising against the sky in shapes that look deliberately theatrical. The most spectacular moments come on the viaducts. The Makatote Viaduct is perhaps the most dramatic, a steel structure carrying the train high above a deep river gorge, and looking straight down from the train window you see nothing but air and the faint gleam of water far, far below. The height is enough to make even composed travelers grip their armrests instinctively. The structure was an extraordinary engineering achievement when it was built in the early 20th century, and it remains extraordinary today. The train moves at a deliberately unhurried pace. This is intentional. This is not about speed. The Northern Explorer exists to show you things. You can move to the viewing platform at the end of the carriages and stand in the open air, the wind cold and the views unobstructed in every direction. The sound of the wheels on the track and the smell of the mountain air and the vast silence of the plateau all combine into something that is very difficult to describe adequately and very easy to feel. The service runs only on certain days of the week and only in certain seasons, so planning is essential. Booking a window seat is not optional, it is mandatory. And if the Northern Explorer shows you New Zealand at its most majestic, wait until you ride a road in Vietnam where the king of all mountain passes stretches across 20 kilometers of national highway with hairpin turns so tight and drops so sudden that fog and rain together can reduce your world to 5 meters of visibility in any direction. Pamban Bridge route, India. Imagine sitting in a train carriage and watching the land disappear behind you until there is nothing on any side except the Indian Ocean, and the track beneath you is the only thing separating you from open water. The Pamban Bridge is a railway bridge connecting the town of Rameswaram on Pamban Island with the Indian mainland, and at 2-3 kilometers long, it is one of the most breathtaking and quietly terrifying railway crossings in all of Asia. The bridge was completed in 1914, and for most of its existence, it has been the only railway connection between Pamban Island and the rest of India. It spans the Palk Strait, one of the most cyclone-prone stretches of water in the Indian Ocean, and every train that crosses it does so against a backdrop of sky and sea with nothing else in sight. The moment the train leaves the mainland and begins its passage across the bridge, the change in atmosphere is immediate and complete. The sound of the wheels changes, the vibration through the carriage floor changes. The windows on both sides of the carriage show nothing except blue water stretching to the horizon. The ocean is not far below. It is close, genuinely close, and the spray from the waves crashing against the bridge's pillars carries on the wind into the open windows. There are no substantial railings on the older sections of the bridge. The view down to the sea below is unobstructed, and the rust that has formed on the steel over a century of salt air exposure gives the structure a patina that speaks of age, weather, and everything these girders have endured. The bridge has survived multiple cyclones, which in this part of the ocean are not rare events, but recurring ones. There is a unique feature at the center of the bridge, a bascule section, a drawbridge section that can be raised to allow ships to pass through the channel below. When a ship needs to pass, the train stops on one side, the bridge section rises, the vessel moves through, the section descends, and the train continues. This is infrastructure from another era, mechanical and deliberate, a reminder that this bridge was built in a time when the relationship between engineering and the sea was managed with levers and counterweights rather than computers. To cross the Pamban Bridge by train at dawn, with the sun rising over the Indian Ocean and the light turning the water from black to gold while the structure carries you across an open sea, is one of the most remarkable travel experiences available on the subcontinent. And if the Pamban Bridge puts the ocean beneath your feet and leaves you breathless wait until you meet a train in Ecuador that earns its name from the face of the devil himself. A railway that carved through the Andes at a gradient so extreme that engineers of the time called it simply impossible. A line of humanity bisects a bustling city. A narrow ribbon of life and steel slices through the chaos of Hanoi. This is Train Street, where the rails weave through a neighborhood. They run inches from homes and shops. Here, the sounds of the city blend with the roar of an approaching train. It creates a cacophony that signals the bustle of everyday life. It also signals an impending disruption. The trains arrive with a jolt. Their rhythmic clatter announces themselves as they hurtle past. They pass mere feet from where children play and vendors hawk their wares. For locals, this is not just a railway, it's a heartbeat. Each train is a reminder of the intimacy and danger found in daily existence. But the narrow passage isn't just functional, it's a spectacle. Tourists line the tracks, cameras poised. They are eager to capture the surreal juxtaposition of steel and humanity. In just minutes, the street transforms. Tables are cleared, chaos descends, and for a fleeting moment, the track becomes an artery throbbing with the pulse of urban life. Surprisingly, this narrow strip has existed for over a century. It is a relic from colonial times that has resisted modernization. It's rumored that just under the surface lives a network of old tunnels. These are remnants of war that tell stories still echoing in the bones of the city. Here, in the depths of Hanoi, trains are more than transportation. They are a living rhythm that dances between past and present. They serve as a daily reminder that life continues, even as the world rushes by. Train to the Clouds, Argentina. At over 4,200 meters above sea level, you are not just near the clouds, you are inside them. The train to the clouds, or Tren a las Nubes, is one of the highest railway journeys in the entire world. It departs from the city of Salta in northwestern Argentina and climbs into the Puna, the high-altitude Andean plateau, through a landscape that grows progressively more alien and more spectacular with every meter of altitude gained. The journey covers roughly 430 kilometers and reaches its highest point at the La Polvorilla Viaduct, a structure that has become one of the most photographed pieces of infrastructure in South America. The La Polvorilla Viaduct is extraordinary in the most literal sense of that word. It is a curved metal bridge, 224 meters long and 63 meters high, spanning a deep ravine in the high Puna. When the train crosses it, slowly and carefully as the altitude demands, the view from the windows is almost completely vertical. You look down through the side of the carriage and see the canyon falling away beneath the bridge structure in both directions, the brown and ochre rock of the Andes dropping into shadow far below. The wind at this altitude is cold and consistent and carries a smell that belongs to no other place on Earth. What makes the train to the clouds engineering legend is its method of climbing the Andes without cog wheels. Instead of the toothed track system that most mountain railways rely on for traction on steep gradients, the Tren a las Nubes uses a series of zigzags and spiral loops. The train reverses up certain sections, moving forward and then backward in alternating directions to gain altitude without a gradient steep enough to require cogs. Watching this maneuver from inside the carriage as the train changes direction and the landscape outside the window shifts and spins is genuinely disorienting in the best possible way. At altitude, the passengers themselves feel the effects. Headaches are common. Breathing requires slightly more effort than it does at sea level. Some passengers experience nausea or dizziness. The train crew are experienced in dealing with altitude sickness, and the journey includes stops where passengers can take time to adjust. This is not a journey for people who ignore physical signals from their own bodies. The landscape the train passes through is a world of its own. Salt flats, volcanic peaks, cactus fields, ravines in colors of rust and brown and deep orange, indigenous Andean communities. A world that exists entirely above the treeline, above the rain, above almost everything. And if the train to the clouds takes you to the roof of the Andes, wait until you board a train in Switzerland that climbs even steeper gradients through a UNESCO World Heritage landscape, where the gradient reaches 7% and the view from the curve called the Death Curve overlooks a valley that drops straight into the earth. Here, the train shimmies through the chaos of commerce. It slices through a vibrant market built on the very tracks it runs. The Maeklong Railway Market in Thailand is a spectacle of coexistence. Produce and vendors dance beneath a looming railway line. Twice a day, with little warning, the bustling stalls fold themselves back. They overflow with ripe mangoes, fresh seafood, and colorful herbs. They make way for the clattering locomotive that commands silence. This happens amidst the fervor of the market. It's not unusual to see a train inching forward. Vendors rush to preserve their livelihood. Their world collapses and expands with each passage. This isn't mere transportation, it's a living exhibition. It shows resilience and adaptation alongside the rhythms of commerce. The market has existed since the early 20th century. It was originally designed to connect farmers to city dwellers. A few spirits dare to remain unfazed as the train roars through. Their casual indifference echoes a shared understanding. This is life, beautiful yet precarious. The market has even survived a near disappearance. Modernization threatened to erase this bustling tapestry. Here, the lines of commerce and transportation blur. They form a unique bond like no other. As the last echo of the train fades into the distance, the market unfolds once more, reclaiming its space. It serves as a daily reminder that in the dance between progress and tradition, life continues to thrive. A steel serpent threads its way through the wilds of the Australian outback. It hauls iron ore from deep within the earth to the coast. This is no ordinary train. It's a lifeline for a continent rich in resources. Yet it is often parched for infrastructure. Spanning over 1,600 kilometers, the iron ore train navigates harsh terrains. It crosses arid deserts and rugged hills. It is a relentless ribbon of commerce pulsing through a dynamic land. Every year, these trains transport millions of tons of iron ore. They feed the hungry steel mills of Asia. They drive economies and shape skylines across oceans. Rolling through desolate landscapes, it's not just a transportation system. It is a wheezing engine of industry. Out here, the sun scorches the earth. Dust storms can blanket the tracks. Yet nothing halts this juggernaut. Surprisingly, one train can pull over 200 cars. Sometimes it stretches to over 3 kilometers in length. Each carriage filled to the brim can weigh up to 30 tons. The sheer scale is staggering. It's a moving monument to the demand for iron. It feeds the modern world's insatiable appetite for infrastructure and technology. But this journey isn't without danger. Stray wildlife, landslides, and mechanical failures lurk as constant threats. These challenges force crews to remain vigilant. As day turns to night, the train's lights pierce the darkness. It is a triumphant line of steel cutting through the vast unknown. It's a relentless force connecting resources to demand. Yet it remains but a thread woven into the fabric of life itself. This is the Gornergrat Railway. It is a steel ribbon that threads its way through the Swiss Alps. The air is crisp and the land is unforgiving. Each train is a lifeline ferrying passengers upward. Inch by glorious inch, it takes them toward one of the highest accessible points in Europe. Built in 1898, this line was an ambitious feat. It was a vision to connect travelers with the grandeur of the Matterhorn. The Matterhorn towers above the landscape, with its jagged peaks piercing the sky. Riding this train is more than just a journey. It is an experience steeped in contrast. The scenery shifts dramatically, from lush green meadows to stark grey rocks, from the sounds of chirping birds to the eerie silence of snow-covered heights. The Gornergrat itself stands as a summit. It offers panoramic views, a spectacle of nature. Few have the fortitude to encounter it. Over 130 years later, the railway continues to operate. It manages to carry more than 300,000 passengers every year. This is a testament to its enduring appeal. The train is not merely a means of transportation. It is a portal through time and terrain. With its locomotive engines puffing steam, it conjures images of a bygone era. The allure of the Alps beckons those with a thirst for adventure. Yet this is more than nostalgia. It is a celebration of human ingenuity. The railway snakes through the landscape. It curves around glaciers and crosses bridges suspended above ravines. Every journey on the Gornergrat Railway is a reminder. Nature is both a playground and a challenge. It invites us to explore its depths and heights. The Daju Cliffside train isn't just a railway. It's a defiance of gravity and nature. It traces the jagged edges of the Yangtze River Gorge with audacity. Here, the train clings to cliffs that seem to rise straight from the depths of the river. A feat of engineering, this line was constructed to connect isolated communities. It threads through landscapes so steep and treacherous that even the hardiest locals gasp in admiration. Every journey on this line affords panoramic views that rival the wildest imagination. The sheer drops are dizzying, with deep green valleys plunging below. Sheer rock faces tower above. Yet, for all its beauty, danger lingers. Rockfalls and landslides threaten the tracks. They test the resilience of both the train and its operators. It's not just a route, it's a survival story written in steel. Unexpectedly, the train serves more than just passengers. It carries supplies, connecting these cliffside villages to the outside world. During peak seasons, it becomes a lifeline. Locals pack bicycles, produce, and their hopes into every carriage. The Daju cliffside train runs with clockwork precision. It is a lifeblood alongside the river, but it also dances with the elements. Harsh weather can bring travel to a standstill. Yet the train persists, forging through with grit. Each journey is a testament to the will of those who inhabit this rugged realm. They are bound by the tracks that hold their connection to the world beyond. Here, the line isn't merely transit, it's a lifeline carved into the mountain. This is the Gokteik Viaduct. It is an audacious steel structure that defies gravity. It spans a deep chasm in the rugged hills of Myanmar. Stretching over 690 meters, it hangs precariously above the valley floor. It connects two distant communities with a slender, vertiginous pathway for trains. Built in the early 20th century, this engineering feat demanded expertise. British engineers and local workers contributed to its construction. Its construction was fraught with danger and toil. Every train crossing this bridge is a reminder of lives sacrificed. Workers grappled with the threat of collapse in the unforgiving wilderness. Over the years, the viaduct has become a lifeline. It facilitates trade and transportation in an area once isolated. Geography and conflict had previously hindered access. But there's more beneath the surface. The Gokteik Viaduct has high wooden pilings. It is one of the highest bridges in the world. It surpasses even some of its more famous counterparts. Each train rolling over the structure sends vibrations through the air. These vibrations resonate with the echoes of history. The lush green canopy below dances in its wake. What truly sets the Gokteik apart is its capacity to evoke emotion. Fear mingles with exhilaration as passengers peer over the edge. Their hearts race with each rumble of the wheels. This isn't just a train crossing a chasm. It's a spine-tingling journey through time. It is a connection forged through sheer will and human endurance. It bridges not just space, but also stories long forgotten. A ribbon of metal threading through green, fertile landscapes. This is the Curitiba Railway, a lifeline of connection woven into the fabric of Brazil's southern capital. Designed originally for transporting goods, it transcends mere utility. It embodies the city's heartbeat, the rhythm of daily life echoing along its tracks. As trains glide through vibrant neighborhoods, they carry not just passengers. They carry stories, aspirations, and the occasional burst of street art adorning the platforms. A network of 3 lines bends and curves through the cityscape. It intermingles seamlessly with bustling streets and sprawling parks. Here, an everyday journey can transform into an adventure. It is a chance to absorb the pulse of urban progress. What's astonishing is that over 60% of Curitiba's population relies on this rail system. This is a staggering figure for a city that celebrates its innovative transport solutions. The trains themselves are a kaleidoscope, a mix of modernity and tradition. Colorful carriages rumble past historical architecture. They craft a living tapestry of past and present. With an average speed of just 30 kilometers per hour, it offers a grounded pace. This pace invites passengers to soak in their surroundings. It allows them to witness the city breathing around them. Yet beneath the quotidian charm lies a challenge. Maintaining punctuality while navigating an intricate dance with traffic is difficult. Each arrival and departure is a testament to resilience. In the end, the Curitiba Railway is not just a means to an end. It is a thread binding the community. It reminds riders that every journey carries momentum and promise. A long steel ribbon snakes through the innovative heart of Wuhan. The Optics Valley Suspension Railway defies gravity and expectation. This isn't just a transit line, it's an engineering dream. Trains float above the bustle, gliding like whispers over the cityscape. Conceived to connect a tech hub with the aspirations of tomorrow. This railway operates more like an aerial dance than conventional transport. Each train sways gently, suspended by intricate cables. These cables seem almost delicate, yet they bear the weight of commuters. They also carry a vision that seeks to meld technology with urban life. Stretching over 4 kilometers, it boasts the world's longest span of track, hanging from a single cable. This feat was accomplished through audacious design and bold engineering. As it loops around, it offers riders sweeping views of lush green parks. Glimmering rivers and the relentless march of development below are also visible. It's almost surreal, watching the city change as you float above. You feel disconnected, yet deeply involved. But there's more beneath the sleek surface of this suspension marvel. Each train carries a story of students rushing to class. Tech entrepreneurs meet under the electrifying glow of neon signs. Families share laughter amidst the skyline. As it operates at speeds reaching 40 kilometers an hour, the sense of freedom is palpable. This railway isn't merely a means to an end. It's an expression of a city soaring towards the future. Suspended in the air, it is simultaneously grounded in the lives it serves. This is the Pilatus Railway. It is a narrow-gauge line that surges up the steepest cogwheel railway in the world, connecting the shores of Lake Lucerne to the summit of Mount Pilatus. It defies gravity as it climbs nearly 2,000 meters in just under 30 minutes. Its engineering is a marvel. The railway carriages are designed to conquer inclines of up to 48%. The journey begins among the lush, green valleys. Tourists and locals alike board to experience a ride that feels more like an ascent into the clouds. As the train rattles along the tracks, the scenery shifts dramatically. From tranquil lakes to rugged peaks, the landscapes transform. They reveal the stunning beauty of the Swiss Alps. Sometimes, the clouds roll in so thick it seems the train is gliding through a dreamscape. Every summer, the Pilatus Railway welcomes thousands. But in winter, its tracks become a silent path through the snow. Winter storms often mute the scenery. They leave only the sound of the train's wheels cutting through the stillness. An ever-present reminder of its tremendous altitude. The line runs precariously close to sheer drops. This makes every curve a leap of faith. Yet it also serves an unexpected purpose. It transports mountain tourists and dedicated climbers seeking adventure. From leisure seekers to thrill hunters, this railway offers a chance to touch the sky. Up here, you're not just riding a train. You're embarking on a journey that lifts spirits and hearts. It carves through the clouds as if on an endless road to the horizon. White Pass and Yukon Route, Canada. It was built in 1898 during the height of the Klondike Gold Rush. It took 26 months to complete, and the men who built it did so by hand through solid granite in one of the coldest and most remote places on the continent. The White Pass and Yukon Route Railway departs from Skagway, Alaska, and climbs through the mountains to White Pass summit before crossing the border into British Columbia, Canada. The narrow-gauge track, just 914 millimeters wide, clings to the mountain face for much of its ascent, carved into granite rock that was blasted and chiseled by a workforce that included stampers, laborers, and engineers working in conditions that were often lethal. The railway was completed in 1900, just as the gold rush that created the demand for it was already beginning to fade. The journey from Skagway begins gently enough, rolling through the small harbor town with its Victorian false front buildings and the memory of a brief, furious gold fever. But the town falls away quickly as the track begins to climb and the mountain takes over. The White Pass summit section is where the experience becomes genuinely visceral. The track here has been cut into the granite cliff face at a point where the mountain offers no comfortable ledge, no natural shelf, nothing. The engineers created the shelf themselves, blasting and chiseling a strip of rock wide enough for the narrow gauge track and a narrow margin on either side. The cliff continues below the track, dropping hundreds of meters into the valley. There is no railing on the valley side. There is nothing between the edge of the track and the open air below. From the train window on the valley side, which is the side you want to sit on for the full experience, the view straight down is the kind of view that triggers a very primal response in the human nervous system. The depth is unambiguous and immediate and enormous. Many passengers report a sudden strong desire to move to the center of the carriage and stop looking at that particular window entirely. Others report not being able to look away at all. The journey to White Pass summit takes a couple of hours from Skagway, and the return trip is the same route in reverse. This is not a complaint. The views are different going back, the light has usually changed, and the second pass over the summit section is no less arresting than the first. The railway runs seasonally and the schedule varies by year, so current timetables should always be checked before planning travel. And if the White Pass makes you grip your seat on the edge of a glacier-carved valley, wait until you visit Colorado, where a steam locomotive crosses a bridge 30 meters above a mountain creek, and the iron wheels grind against the rails on curves so tight the locomotive seems to be disagreeing with the track about which direction to go. A ribbon of land stretches through the shimmering expanse of the Great Salt Lake. It slices through a mosaic of salt flats and marshes. This is the Great Salt Lake Causeway. It is a man-made lifeline connecting the stark beauty of Utah's landscape. Its purpose is to carry freight across the briny waters. But in doing so, it has transformed an ecosystem. Built in the early 20th century for the Southern Pacific Railroad, this causeway stands not merely as a bridge over water. It also acts as a barrier against nature. The salinity of the lake is one of the most saline bodies of water in the Western Hemisphere. It fosters a habitat that thrives on extremes. Here, brine flies and tiny shrimp bloom in a kaleidoscope of life, even as the causeway disrupts the delicate balance. In winter, the causeway is a frigid corridor. It is often blanketed by snow. In summer, it becomes a shimmering mirage. Surprisingly, the water on either side doesn't mix. The causeway divides the lake into two distinct ecosystems. This leads to vastly different salinity levels. The trains rumble across, oblivious to the biotic chaos below. They haul everything from minerals to goods to keep industry thriving. Yet, as the tracks echo with the rhythmic thud of movement, there's an unsettling silence surrounding the lake. It serves as a reminder of the trade-off between progress and preservation. Beneath the surface, the water churns with secrets. Life persists against all odds. Here, nature and humanity's ambition compete in a delicate dance. This is a thin line of stone and sheer ambition. The Landwasser Viaduct is a bridge that arcs gracefully over the churning currents of the Landwasser River in Switzerland. Completed in 1902, it represents not just engineering prowess, but also a defiance of gravity itself. The structure stands 65 meters above the valley floor. Its 7 elegant arches cut through the air like a ballet dancer frozen mid-leap. Train journeys here are unlike any other. Steel engines glide across this monumental span. The viaduct isn't merely functional, it's an experience. Onlookers often find themselves mesmerized by the sight of trains curving around the viaduct. They seem suspended in time. Surprisingly, this architectural wonder was built using local stone. This decision integrates it seamlessly into its breathtaking surroundings. But the Landwasser Viaduct is not just about aesthetics. It's also a vital link in the dense network of the Rhetian Railway. This railway connects isolated alpine communities to the broader world. The engineers faced the daunting task of constructing such a massive structure. They did this in a remote location with limited resources. Over a century later, it continues to serve as a critical transportation route. Yet it rarely carries the weight of modern urban congestion. Instead, it offers passengers a portal into untouched landscapes. Every train, every journey is a reminder that this isn't just a structure of stone. It's a bridge to the heart of Switzerland's natural beauty. There are engineering achievements that define civilizations. The pyramids, the Colosseum, the Great Wall, and then, quietly, without proclamation or ceremony, there is Bein Bridge, 160 years old, made entirely of teak wood, stretching nearly a mile across Tongthaman Lake in Myanmar, and somehow still carrying thousands of people across its surface every single day. Bein Bridge is the longest teak wood bridge in existence. That distinction alone would make it remarkable, but what transforms it from a historic curiosity into one of the most extraordinary human structures on Earth is the way it functions. This isn't a preserved relic. It isn't a museum piece maintained behind glass for tourists to photograph from a distance. Bein Bridge is a living, breathing, working piece of daily infrastructure. Monks cross it at dawn. Fishermen wheel their bicycles across it at midday. Children run across it on their way home from school. And yes, visitors from every corner of the world walk its length at golden hour, watching the sun descend behind the mountains, turning the lake's surface to liquid copper beneath their feet. The bridge was constructed around 1850 by the mayor of Amarapura, a man named Bein, who reportedly used teak wood salvaged from the former royal palace at Inwa when the capital was relocated. That decision to repurpose ancient royal timber rather than cutting fresh wood was not just practical. It was a demonstration of a sustainable engineering philosophy that modern civilization is still struggling to fully embrace. The wood used to build Bein Bridge may be older than the bridge itself. Over 1,000 wooden pillars are driven deep into the lakebed, supporting a narrow walkway that sits low enough above the water that during rainy season, the lake's surface appears to rise up and claim the structure. The deck is only wide enough for two people walking side by side, creating a natural slowness to the crossing. You cannot rush. You cannot stride purposefully from end to end. The bridge imposes its own rhythm. Step, look, feel the slight give in the ancient teak beneath you. Notice the fishermen balanced in their boats below, nets trailing into still water. Understand, slowly, that you are walking through something that the modern world has almost entirely forgotten how to build. What makes the crossing genuinely challenging, beyond the physical narrowness and the height above water, is the psychological exposure. There are no handrails along much of the length. The lake stretches away on both sides into a horizon framed by distant hills. When wind moves across the water and the bridge responds with a low, almost imperceptible vibration, you become acutely aware of exactly how much open space surrounds you. The bridge does not feel fragile. But it reminds you, constantly, that you are crossing a body of water on wood that has been standing since before most modern nations existed. And the remarkable fact, the one that genuinely separates Bein from every other bridge in this list, is that this structure is not maintained by a government infrastructure program. It is maintained by the community that depends on it. When pillars crack, they are swapped entire lives. You people who cross it every day understand that its survival depends on them. And over a century and a half, that understanding has been enough.